Thank you very much. Thank you to Matt. What a job he and Mercedes have done. This CPAC is a hot item. You got a lot of people standing outside trying to get in. Would anybody like to give up their slot? Would anybody?
I recognize that the audio and video are unsynced. Let me try turning down the quality a hair.
And I'm thrilled to be back in the heart of Texas with the proud conservative
It's the feed.
Patriots.
It's the feed.
Courageously leading the battle.
Let's check Newsmax. Okay, Newsmax isn't even airing it.
For a year before the election, the fake news media said
it's on their
Texas
end, yeah.
was in play. It's in play. You know what in play means? Like it's close. And they were right, except it was only in play for me. For me and you, actually. No, it was in play for me. They said, the polls have closed in Texas. Donald Trump has won Texas. You know, it was like, but how
Congratulations, sir. You just won the election.
It will never be in play if we have the right candidate. This state is never going to be in play. This is a very, very special place.
Massive technical difficulties plaguing them.
And we're going to bring back your energy. I told you this was going to happen. I told you. Actually, Texas believed us. With the help of everyone here today, we will defeat the radical left, the socialist Marxists, and the critical race theorists.
And God
Whoever
bless
thought would be even using that
United
term.
Church.
We will secure our borders. We will stop left-wing cancel culture. We will restore free speech and fair elections. And we will make America great again. It's very simple. Very simple.
That greatness must have been pretty soft if it so quickly evaporated, huh?
From the very beginning, the people in this room have been some of the staunchest and fiercest supporters of our incredible movement, the greatest political movement in the history of our country. And I can say that, and nobody ever even challenges me. Look at all those fake news people back there. They don't challenge us.
Sir, he's better than I am.
They don't even challenge. I want to personally thank each and every one of you for your incredible support and your support of CPAC. You never stopped fighting for me, and I will never, ever stop fighting for you. Promise.
That's a lie. He doesn't care about these people.
I especially want to thank two wonderful and really extraordinary people who make this incredible event possible. You know them almost as well as I do, Matt and Mercedes Schlapp. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Stand up, please.
Stand back and stand by.
Thank you. Great job. Great job.
All right.
Taking it to a whole new level. I appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. Thank you.
I think someone yelled you won.
We all won.
Yeah.
We all won. Also with us is a true Texas conservative and a real leader. Where is he? Ken Paxton. Where is he?
Oof.
Oh, look at that. And he is. He's fast on the draw. We love Ken. Thank you, Ken, very much. We appreciate you being here. We're also grateful to be joined
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
He's going back home to Mom. Mom is not a... His mom is a big supporter of ours, by the way. He's going to have a rough night. We're grateful to be
What is he
joined
talking
as well
about?
by a wonderful, wonderful, not only political person, but a wonderful person, Governor Kristi Noem. Governor, thank you, Kristi. Great job. And we have many, many members of Congress here. Could I ask our great Congressmen and women to stand up, please, right now? Good. What a group. What a group. What a group.
Is that Louis Gohmert? Oh, God, that's disgusting. Look at him right
All
here.
warriors. Thank you very much. Thank you, fellas. Warriors. Truly are. They are truly warriors. And countless other conservative leaders and politicians and people that we love and we respect and we are fighting with and we're fighting for. For generations, the American Conservative Union has helped lead the charge to defend our values, protect our country, and preserve our glorious American heritage. You see, they're taking our heritage away. That's not going to happen.
Who is?
Not going to happen. And we were doing so well until the rigged election happened to come along. We were doing really well. But today that heritage is under threat like never before. Who would have thought this could have happened? Even Bernie Sanders is saying, I never thought this could happen. He's mild by comparison.
Yeah, good.
In a matter of mere months, Joe Biden has brought our country to the brink of ruin.
With all due
Right here in
respect, that's a bunch
Texas,
of
we are
malarkey.
the epicenter of a border and migration crisis unlike anything anyone has ever seen before.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
At the same time, they have totally obliterated your energy industry. I told you. Under my administration, we achieved a historic reduction in illegal immigration. Never happened before to that extent, and not even close. We ended the horrible catch and release, where we catch a criminal and release him into our country. We actually said, nope, it's called stay in Mexico, and it worked very well. And we had the support of Mexico. Who else could do that? And you have a great president of Mexico, a friend of mine. He's done a great job.
My sense is he's going to go the 2 hours, guys. I don't know why I'm feeling that.
And he's been terrific, and I appreciate it. We stopped asylum fraud, and we struck critical agreements with other countries to stop illegal immigration. We called it, in fact, remain in Mexico.
Fraud.
You don't come here, get released, and you never see these people again. They don't come back. They say, come back in 3 years for a court case. Only the really not smart ones. I want to be nice. Only the really not smart ones come back, which is about 1%. We reduced drugs pouring across our border by the highest percentage ever in the history of our country. It's not just people. We shut down the migrant caravans. You haven't seen those caravans. You get ready because they're coming up right now. You've been watching
It's
them
a fraud.
come through. And in those caravans, you have some deadly people. We dealt a crippling blow to MS-13. We deported criminal aliens by the thousands and thousands and thousands, and we built almost 500 miles of border wall, the exact wall that the border...
What are the real numbers? They built 80 miles and then just like sort of renovated the rest or something like that. And of course, the border wall is thousands of miles.
And it has to be wired, sir, so we can have all the drones the Democrat... Remember they wanted drones?
Sir, you can't ask
Drones
that
are not
question.
going to stop people. Do you remember the statement during the campaign? Two things, everything's obsolete like 2 days after they come up with it now.
Sir.
Computers, everything obsolete. They get a better one. Two things, right? What are they? Wheels and walls. They never change. In 1,000 years, you'll say wheels and walls. Walls work. Walls work. Just ask
We're looking very
Nancy
strongly
Pelosi.
at sinks
Nice
and
wall around
showers.
her house. Now the Biden administration has turned the border into the single greatest disaster in American history, and perhaps in world history. Nobody's ever seen a border like this. Other countries don't have a border like this. Illegal border crossings are up over 1,000% from last year. Think of
This idea is a bunch of malarkey.
For the last 3 months in a row, more illegal alien minors have arrived than any other month in United States history. This is the major pipeline for MS-13. These are the worst gang members, they say, anywhere in the world. They bring recruits to every state in our country. They run it like a business, but not with me. We were throwing them the hell out of here so fast. ICE.
That's how a
ICE.
strong man talks, guys.
ICE, the great patriots, tough people, ICE, and they've been disrespected. We can't have them disrespected. Border Patrol, Brandon's here someplace probably. Oh, where the hell is Brandon? He is so great. What a job he's done. Yes, thank you. Thank you. ICE and Border Patrol. Overall, illegal youth arrivals are up nearly 500%. Think of that. And they're being resettled in cities and towns all across the United States at taxpayers' expense. And the people in those cities and towns have no idea that they're coming. The taxpayers will also be forced to pay for relatives to be flown from Central America to join them. Did you ever hear of chain migration? You come in illegally and we'll also bring your mother, your father, your grandparents, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles. Anybody else want to come in? Come on in. We had one on the West Side Highway. He was driving rapidly down the West Side Highway at a very excessive speed.
Does a Texas crowd know what the West Side Highway is?
And he saw people working out, a big group of people, and he decided to make a right turn. And he killed many and he maimed many. People go out because they want to put themselves in shape, and they end up going back home missing a leg, missing a couple of arms, or dead. That's what happened. And he had the right to bring people in with him, his family, his mother and father and his brother. And he had many that he brought in, but we took very good care of him. But this administration doesn't do that. Many of these children, for the first time ever, it's a terrible thing is happening to them, are on suicide watch. They end up in a place that they have no idea where it is. No idea, not the border. It's all, our whole country has become a border. Meanwhile, ICE removals are at the lowest level ever. And they are great people. They're patriots and they're tough. The agency has been functionally shut down. All of America is now one giant sanctuary city. We were fighting sanctuary cities and doing very well. They're meant for criminal aliens. That's what they're meant for. Under our administration, we sent a very different message to the coyotes, human traffickers, child smugglers, vicious criminal cartels, and savage MS-13 gang members. When I was president, illegal alien criminals knew that if they trespassed across our border, they would be caught, they would be detained, and they would be sent to jail, or we would send them the hell back to where they came from.
Okay. Even that the crowd is so on.
We created the most secure border in all of American history by far. Biden's border crisis is also helping drive an unprecedented crime wave. And you see the crime wave. Even without this, you see all in Democrat-run cities.
I have a video about that. Most cities are Democratic, both the ones with a lot of crime and the ones with not a lot of crime. It's just more Democrats live in cities. That's the reality. It's a higher population density, and therefore you have more crime.
7% in Philadelphia, 68% in Atlanta, and over 500% in Portland over this time last year. Think of that, Portland.
What was going on last year? Oh, right, everybody was home, yeah.
Happens to Antifa, and nothing happens to BLM, but to people that are patriots or conservatives or Republicans. They stay in jails for extended periods of time, and they destroy their lives. But we're not going to take it anymore.
This is really weak material even. Like, even for Trump, it's very weak.
In New York City, crime is out of control. It's at record levels with nobody being prosecuted except, of course, innocent Republicans are being prosecuted. The Democrats know their policies on crime are so unpopular, so radical, so crazy. They are now trying to pretend they never led the defund the police movement in the first place. This information. We never said defund the police. You know who did it?
There were certainly almost no elected officials that ever even paid any attention to that.
Information. How about Russia? Trump had to do with Russia. He loves Russia. He loves Putin. He loves everybody. Turned out to be the Democrats, right? After 2 years, they figured, gee, And after a while, people actually believe this stuff. But now they're saying defund the police. Well, we didn't say it, it was the Republicans. It's called disinformation. You have to be wise to it. It's very simple. If you support defunding the police, vote for the radical left Democrats, and you see what's happening to the cities where they defunded the police. There's never been anything like it. If you want more police and more cops on the streets, vote for America First Republicans. Or let's put it very simply, vote for MAGA. Make America great again.
Vote for MAGA. People are asking me whether this is upper Trump or downer Trump. I think this is upper Trump, but he's not that up.
The same far-left Democrats who are defunding police are also leading an all-out crusade to strip you, the law-abiding citizens of America, of your God-given Second Amendment rights. I told you again, I told you. And I preserved that right 100%. And you think that was easy? It wasn't easy. There was so much pressure. There was so much pressure. Republicans must never waver in demanding that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Can't let it happen. Thank you.
Right?
Thank you very much.
Why do we have a split screen?
But it's not only the Second Amendment that the leftists want to destroy. They are hard at work to abolish the First Amendment as well. Probably all amendments when you get right down to it. Why not?
Yeah. End the Bill of Rights. I've never heard that thrown at Democrats before. They want to end all amendments, guys.
It's completely un-American. To protect the constitutional rights and liberties of every citizen, this week I filed a major class action. A lot of people are joining.
Fraud. It's a fraud.
Pro-business, anti-business regulation crowd cheers because they like Trump's lawsuit to force Twitter to let him tweet.
A class action lawsuit against the big tech giants. We are suing Facebook, Twitter, and Google. And to show you the arrogance, I was just talking to Mercedes, I guess. Matt, you announced that they're trying.
He's not sure who he was talking to. I guess it was Mercedes.
More than 50% of our country. I really do. Because there's no way they can be 50% with defund the police, sanctuary cities, and all of the crazy things that they espouse. There's no way. But I heard they just filed where they want to take everybody down. Honestly, they're going too far. They're going too far. They're so spoiled. You know, it's like a spoiled child. I want that toy, Dad, but I also want this one, this one, this one. Eventually, bad things happen. We are taking Mark Zuckerbucks, Jack Dorsey, and the other Silicon Valley millionaires to federal.
That wasn't on purpose,
we
right?
will keep on fighting until we have stopped this assault on our liberties and until we have
Zuckerbucks. That's either anti-Semitic or a portmanteau of Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook. Zuckerbucks.
Who would have thought? Could anybody believe we're even talking about this subject 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Who would have believed it? In addition to their malicious attacks on free speech, these Silicon Valley tyrants are also attacking our democracy itself. The big tech election interference in 2020 was an outrageous assault upon the republic and upon the American voter. Terrible thing has happened to our country. We're being laughed at all over the world. Our election has been studied by other countries.
What they're laughing at is that Trump keeps saying he won.
Zuckerberg alone spent $400 million on election meddling.
Congratulations, sir. You just won the election.
Swing states, he funded unmanned and unprotected drop boxes that were deployed in Democrat-run cities and heavily Democrat precincts to scoop up ballots which were supposedly 94, 95, 96% for Joe Biden because he campaigned so well from his base.
It is great when he tries to say Sundar Pichai.
Biden did substantially better in the swing states than Barack Hussein Obama with the black population. Now, even though he did terribly throughout the country, but in those 5 places, he did very well. You know about that, Louis, right? He did five places, he did very well. Beat Obama. With the black population, I don't think so.
Okay.
But they practiced that and countless other schemes to illegitimately and illegally boost the Democrat vote. The drop boxes were often very late. Where are they? Where are they? What happened? They're supposed to be here. They're not. I can tell you what happened. Sometimes late by days in showing up to the vote count.
Uh-oh. This is not our feed. You can see the scrolls continuing at the bottom. The feed just went down. This is the CPAC RSBN feed that's down. It would be funny if it went down completely.
Biden or the radical left Democrats, they just suppressed. In the most horrendous example, the oldest newspaper in America.
Newspaper.
One of my favorites. It's a great one. The New York Post broke one of the biggest scandals ever to emerge in a presidential election, providing extraordinarily detailed evidence of the corruption of Joe Biden. And where's Hunter Biden? You know where he is? He's painting right now for $500,000 apiece. Where's Hunter? His highest and best use, I can tell you, is in a studio to paint, even though he's never painted before. He set a record for the highest price for a person that never painted a picture before.
With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
Then, without any basis whatsoever, Twitter and Facebook banned the New York Post's account of this terrible story. After the election, one poll showed that at least 10% of Joe Biden's voters would have switched their vote if they had known about Joe and Hunter Biden scandals, enough to flip the results of numerous states. But don't worry about it.
How many Trumpists would have switched their votes if they had known about Trump scandals? I mean, many of them wouldn't have. They would have defended him, but some would have.
The only thing I disagree with, it wouldn't have mattered. They would have found the votes. They would have found those votes. If it was reported, they would have found the votes. A little more. They would have churned out some more ballots. The truth was covered up, and it had a giant impact on the election. This must never happen to another party's presidential candidate again. Can never happen. We are a laughingstock all over the world.
That's true. That's true.
And you know who knows it better than even the people in this room? Democrats. They know it.
Furthermore, these big we independents know it. Everybody knows we're a laughingstock. That's true.
The ballot box by censoring any honest discussion of election fraud. You say election fraud, you get canceled. That's the one thing they want to stay away from.
It's a fraud.
You know, the cancel culture, they're very tough on it, but the thing they really don't want is because we're too close to home. We got too close. Read Time magazine from 4 months ago, the cover story. They couldn't help themselves.
What?
It doesn't go all the way, but it goes far enough, and you see what they did. They want to stay away from talking about the election results. Every time the media references the election hoax, they say the fraud is unproven. And while there is no evidence, there's so much evidence. You saw what happened in Georgia the other day? They found 35,000 votes.
I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
Over 100,000 votes. I said, because they were so bad, voters. I said, why didn't you try doing it before the election? Lost by this much. Why didn't you do it before the election? There's bad things going on in this country, very bad things. We always had the reputation of being a wonderful, brilliant country for voting. And now everyone knows. They've watched, they're very smart, and they see what happened. The governor of Georgia and Georgia Secretary of State let us down. They let us down. And by the way, the voting law they passed is far weaker than that of Texas and other states. You hear that, Mr. Attorney General? They don't even have signature verification.
This is pretty dystopian. I'm not going to lie. This is like really, really bad.
Because everyone thinks, oh, they're passing this. No, it's not. And you notice they're the only state that's being sued by the federal government. You know why? Because it's an easy target. Because the governor and the Secretary of State won't defend like that guy will defend. So I only speak the truth. So true. And the reason the Attorney General of the United States is going after Georgia is it's so bad what they've done, and they'll probably win, and that defense won't take place. They go out and they really work very hard on finding the right state to look at. Now, Stacey Abrams in Georgia got them to sign what's called a mandated consent decree, which was not approved by the legislature, therefore it's illegal, and makes it very easy for Democrats to cheat and to win elections. You don't have too many of them in Texas, do you, Louis? Doc Ronnie, do we have it? The great Doc
About
Ronnie?
46%, actually.
Became a congressman,
Kind of a lot.
right? He only beat 22 people. 22 people. He was great. I said, Doc, how about if I take a cognitive test? He said, well, you can do it, sir, but if you do, it'll be public. Sir! Well, I said, what's wrong with that? He said, well, if you don't do well, sir, it's not going to be pretty. I don't even know what I'm doing, sir. I said, is it hard? He said, after the first 5 questions, it gets very hard. I said, let's take a shot at it.
Sir, you
And we
can't
did
ask
it,
that
and
question.
we aced it, right? I aced it.
Here we go on the test stuff. They're cheering that he passed the basic dementia screening.
Seen anybody that aced it? And some of those questions are not easy, I will tell you that.
That's not true.
How do you think Joe would do on a cognitive test?
Mr.
You never
President,
know.
sir.
Maybe he's underneath there. There's somebody that's very unusual. Unfortunately, this was an election where the person that counts the votes was far more important than the candidate, no matter how many votes that candidate got, and we got record numbers of votes. It's a disgrace to our nation, and we are truly being scorned and disrespected all over the world. Never forget that the radical left is not the majority in this country. We are the majority, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
Really dystopian stuff. Big tough guy, huh?
And when you look at their policies, it's just no way that can happen. There's no way. Weak military, they fight against the military, always fighting budgets, military. We need strong military right now, so strong. And having rebuilt the U.S. military is one of my greatest achievements.
It's also completely imaginary. It's a non-existent achievement.
old and
Will he do the story, sir, we have no bullets?
new F-35s and everything's brand new and we have a great military, or it's coming soon and they won't be able to stop it. But the radical left cheat in elections and the fake news media cheats in polling, like having me down 17 points just before the election in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Donald Trump, ABC News, Washington Post, just before. Now, when people hear that, it's called suppression. They say, we love the president, but we're going to stay home. Let's watch television.
Nobody voted in Wisconsin.
Good idea. Harry's going to stay home with Janet. I'm down 17 points, and I felt I was winning the state, and we did, in my opinion, win the state.
Congratulations, sir. You just
even
won
by
the
their fake
election.
numbers. It was very close. So they have it down 17 points. And interestingly, in 2016, the exact same thing happened.
This is really sad, guys.
Points, same people, ABC News, Washington Post, suppression. I was down 19 points, and I won the state. So that's a fake poll. It should be illegal. That's a fake
Illegal
poll.
and immoral.
Same people At least they got better. They had 17 instead of 19. But I was down 4 years ago. You know, we got them by surprise in 2016. They said, we're never going to let that happen again.
That's true.
What happened. Americans.
No, that's true. We overestimated the intelligence of the American people in 2016, and we got effed up. He is 100% right about that.
Recent, highly respected Rasmussen poll. 58% of voters say the media is truly the enemy of the people. Think of that. 58%. And only 23% disagreed. Nobody can tell me that defunding the police.
Rasputin is doing polling now?
In your taxes, it used to be you're running for office. We're going to cut your taxes. This is the only time in history. We're going to raise your taxes. Oh, I'm going to vote for him. I want to raise my. And they're raising your taxes so you can waste this money on the Green New Deal, which is nonsense. So they want to put back the regulations. I took off more regulations. And people are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times. We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers. Looking at that very strongly. It was more important than the taxes, than cutting taxes, but we took off the regulations. Used to take 20 years to get highways approved and roads approved. And we got it down to 2, and we're going to try and get it down to 1. Well,
what do you mean?
We're going to get it down to 1. Now we're going to have to wait a little while, I guess, you know?
We're going
to? Up to about 18 or 20 pretty soon, and then we'll bring it down one day. You just wait and see. The Democrats are...
What is he even talking about?
But they're very vicious, and they're smart, and they stick together. They don't have Mitt Romneys and little Ben Sasses and Bill Cassidy. How about Bill Cassidy? He campaigns in the great state of Louisiana.
What percentage of the audience knows who Bill Cassidy is?
Trump in it. Trump, 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 Trump. And then he votes to impeach me.
Sure. I don't know.
I mean, can you believe it? But I always sort of felt that about that guy. Lightweight. But you have another very good senator there. John Kennedy. He's very good. Very good senator. And Bill Cassidy can't walk down the streets of Louisiana without having nasty things said to him. And they don't have anyone, the Democrats, like the warmonger and most quoted Republican in the history of our country by Democrats, Liz Cheney. She's quoted all the time. Every time a Democrat gets up to make a speech, you know this, fellas, right? You have to live with her, I guess. Maybe not much longer. But every time they get up to make a speech, and to quote Liz Cheney, Democrats are ruthless, but they are united. They don't have these Romney types. They don't have them. It must be wonderful to live like that. But they have bad policy, and they have policy that's going to destroy our country. Like social.
This is a good question via Super Chat. Why does the crowd continue to cheer the same topics and bullet points they've heard time and time again? What else are they going to do, right? I mean, this is what the party is right now, cheering these talking points. This is the basis of the party.
Anything is justified as long as it hurts their political opponents and advances the radical agenda of their party. It's a radical agenda like nobody has seen before. Before our very eyes, the radical left Democrats are turning the law itself into a weapon for partisan persecution. It's persecution. It's really party. Look at what they're doing to incredible people like Rudy Giuliani. Incredible. Greatest mayor in the history of the city of New York.
He's the greatest mayor. That's like, you know, a female horse.
And at the same time, they're weaponizing the IRS against conservatives and Christians, just like they did with the Tea Party, except worse. There are now 2 sets of laws in this country, one for the left-wing mob, the rioters and the rampagers, who can do whatever the hell they want to whomever they want.
More like one for the rich and one for everybody else.
A set of rules for law-abiding conservative Americans, happen to be Republicans, who simply want to speak their minds and exercise their rights, like to talk about a rigged election. Talk about a rigged election. But Rudy Giuliani, and I mean that, he is by far the greatest mayor of the city. And now you realize, you know, it means more right now, Matt, than it would have meant 5 years ago when you say that, because you see what the hell is happening to our cities. New York in particular. But one of the great crime fighters of his generation has had his law license taken away by the radical left, all because he was fighting against an election result that he saw was corrupt. That means you can never, ever fight anything. That means, you know, someday it could swing the other way, right? Could swing the other way. Probably won't for a long time, but we're not letting it happen.
What's he talking about?
Under the standard that has now been applied to Rudy, lawyers are no longer free to represent their clients, and their livelihood itself depends on one thing only, whether or not they want to fight the corruption. Think of it. Rudy fought because he saw the election was rigged. And because he fought, they took away his law license in New York and in Washington, D.C. And this is a great man. This is a man, I lived in New York. You could walk down the streets.
Silent audience.
Proud of the city. You're not proud of the city anymore. You're not proud of what's happening. While many Democrats fought viciously and got caught lying about the 2016 election, they were lying. Nothing happened. Russia, Russia, Russia. You remember Russia, Russia? I see Devin here. Where's Devin? Where is he? Stand up, Devin. Stand up.
Trump presumably pointing to Devin Nunes. Disgusting congressman.
When I came in, he was in the basement of an office building, the basement of the White House. They said, sir, there's a congressman. He's going through files and files.
Sir,
because he
I don't
knew
know.
that what Shifty Schiff was saying was pure bullshit.
Ooh. Whoa.
Sir, you're on the cover of Time magazine again.
Sir,
And
your
he
wife
and
is up
another
in the
great
air.
one, I could give it to everybody here, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, because they're great. And you have a star on your left. Stand up.
You guys notice how bullshit got a bigger applause than that entire prior rant from Trump?
Devin always knows who to sit next to. But Devin received the Presidential Medal of Freedom along with
It's horrifying.
Jim Jordan of Ohio.
Oof. Horrifying.
Incredible courage they showed. So,
Total debasement of that medal.
a long time ago with Russia, Russia, Russia. You know, I tell the story. During the campaign, guys would come up to me, and we're doing well, and this is 2016, we're doing well. Sir,
Sir,
you know anything about Russia?
well.
Sir, you can't ask that question.
I don't even know what
Sir,
I'm doing.
you're on the cover of Time magazine again.
Congratulations, sir. You just won the
You're on the cover of Time magazine again.
What do you have to do with Russia? Do you have anything to do with Russia? No. What do you ask? Then after about 4 or 5 guys coming up, I'd say, like, what the hell is going on with Russia? And it was a scam.
Man.
And then we went through years with Mueller, and there was no collusion. Oh, they wanted, remember? 18 angry Democrats. Oh, they went after us. They'll send everything into New York. They'll give it a shot now. 18, they've already done that. In fact, it's photocopies they use. They use photocopies of the same stuff I beat in Washington.
Whoa, photocopies?
If
That's
anyone
crazy.
should be losing their jobs, their law licenses,
Short Xerox stock.
for crimes. It's not Rudy Giuliani. It's Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff is a very dishonest guy. He used to stand up at a microphone, and he used to lie like hell. I'd say, this guy is he'd stand up. This is a sad day for our union. President Trump works for Russia. I'd say, what the hell is he talking about?
Works for? I don't
I'm
remember
the one that exposed Russia for the biggest thing they've ever done, the pipeline to Europe. I shut it down, and now Biden opened it up. They're going to make a fortune. But
That's a
guys like
bunch of
Andy
malarkey.
McCabe and James Comey and James Clapper and remember the two lovers, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page? All of the other
People are dumping in $50 and $100 super chats for the Right Side Broadcasting's coverage of this. Like, if there is any doubt whatsoever that this guy has the support to run in 24, it's that the money is just dumping in.
Yeah, I've never said this because I didn't want to, but I will.
By the way, none of the money goes to Trump, but it's just the point of it, of what they think.
Hold anyone accountable for the countless abuses of power by the Democrats. He didn't hold the corrupt officials who spied on our campaign. Remember, I said, they're spying on our campaign. And boy, that was like a lightning rod went off. Not the authors of the phony dossier, they weren't held responsible. Not the women who slandered and lied and defamed Brett Kavanaugh. They said, Brett Kavanaugh, he had an affair. They didn't go after them, they lied so badly. Not any of the numerous criminal referrals for lying to Congress over and over again. Not any of the illegal leakers, not any of the people that were responsible for corrupting our elections. There's no greater crime. He wanted nothing to do with it. He just didn't want to do it. But perhaps it's understandable because he did become a different man. I always liked him. But I said, Bill, you got to move your ass. Our country is under attack. But he became a different man when the Democrats viciously stated that they wanted to impeach him. They went wild. We want to impeach him. We're going to impeach Bill Barr. We're going to impeach him. He became different. I understand that. I didn't become different. I got impeached twice. I didn't change. I became worse.
What the hell?
I became worse.
Why are they standing?
So I guess I can understand it. But I just a day ago received a statement from the U.S. Attorney, highly respected, in Pennsylvania, that Bill Barr would not allow him to investigate voter fraud. Can you believe it? Now, you have to understand,
Whoa.
Philadelphia is the second most corrupt.
Remember, we just found out last week Trump went nuts about Bill Barr when Bill Barr was like, yeah, there really wasn't voter fraud.
First is Detroit. Detroit was so corrupt. Philadelphia was so corrupt. But the U.S. Attorney was not allowed to investigate what. This just came out in a letter. You don't even know about this, Devin, right? Matt, that's a big one. What do you think? We have a letter. You'll have to get it from him because I want to stay out of it. Get it from the U.S. Attorney, but I'm sure he'll be willing to provide it, but he's given it to us. He was not allowed to do his job. And I saw that. He was all enthused, and then all of a sudden, it was like he was turned off, and so were others. This was true with so many others that when the Justice Department, they failed to call out the late night ballot stuffing that took place in Georgia. Remember that?
Big,
Where they
massive
made
dump.
up a story of a water main break in order to get people and security to leave the premises. And then they went into a rampage of stuffing, essentially, the ballots.
Dump.
But now that event, because of me and some very good people, is in court. Let's see how that one turns out.
Yeah.
And Bill Barr told me, sir, we've looked at it. We found nothing. All you have to do is look at it.
Sir,
you
I don't
can't
know
ask
that
what
question.
I'm doing, sir.
There was no water main, you know. Remember? There was no water main. Remember that? I said to him, but what about the water main? Oh, I didn't hear about that. Well, I heard about it. There was no water main break. They said there was. And the people all ran. Except a group of people came back. Boom, boom, boom.
They call them
That's
dumps.
one is easy. All you have to do is look at the tape. It's incredible what tapes can show. The fact is, Republicans play a much nicer, kinder game than the Democrats, but based on what we've seen and what
This
we're
is
witnessing
something
now,
else.
with all of the prosecutorial and other misconduct going on, perhaps
Are we thinking he'll go 2 hours again? Let's see how long he's been going.
plan. Louis Gohmert would agree with that. Louis Gohmert, right? I have to be careful with him. I mean,
So we're about
don't
43
say I
minutes
said it,
in.
but actually, Louis Gohmert's worse than any Democrat, but we have to hold him back. We hold him back, Doc Ronnie, right? Louis, what do you think of that, Louis? You just heard something for the first time. Pretty amazing, isn't it? And by the way, where's Durham? What happened? Where is he? He disappeared. Why didn't they use the very well done Horowitz report? And
Trump seems to have real problem with everything plumbing related. Like even now a water main is the focus. He was worried about flushing toilets. dishwashers, sinks, showers.
which talked about the crimes and bad acts committed by Comey, McCabe, and others. This is even before you go with Durham. I'd like to thank Inspector General Horowitz for that report. It should have been used.
Uh-oh.
They didn't want to use it. I guess it's
Sounding anti-Semitic, guys.
thinking, deep state, is there something? But if you can't wait for Durham, just read a man named Darryl Cooper's brilliant thread on Twitter. He tells the whole story. You got to read.
Check out a Twitter thread, guys.
We know as fact the Steele dossier was the sole evidence just to justify spying on the Trump campaign. They spied, think of it. They spied on my campaign and nothing will happen to them. Think of it.
This is crazy.
Can you imagine if I spied on Biden's campaign or Obama's campaign? Could you imagine what would have happened? They spied on my campaign, we caught them, and nothing happened. The FBI knew the Steele dossier was a DNC operation, paid for by DNC and crooked Hillary Clinton, who, by the way, is the most angry person in the United States today. She's gone away.
Right.
You know why? She said, why the hell didn't you do that for me in 2016? Forget it. There are more people than her. No, she said, why didn't you do it for me? Actually, the race was much closer. You know, the New York Times asked me a question. What happened in 2020 that was different from 2016? I said, well, I'll tell you, we did much better in 2020. We got 12 million more votes. We won by a much bigger margin. 2016 was very close. But Hillary said, why didn't you do that for me? Why didn't you cheat for me, damn it? I could have been somebody. Could have been somebody.
Okay. He still has not accepted the 2016 popular vote. That's crazy.
And they did not inform the court of any of this, and they kept on spying on the Trump campaign. In addition, the press is part of this crooked operation. You know that. Election rules were changed. Big tech censored the opposition. Political violence was legitimized and encouraged by the left. And then Trump, the president of the United States, was banned from the social media, as we call it, by sleazebags. I was banned by sleazebags. I was banned by bad people.
I really want him to try to say the name of the Google CEO again, Sundar Pichai.
They are far worse. In other words, the entire system was rigged against the American people and rigged against a fair, decent, and honest election. For decades, the conservative movement acted as if all that mattered were policy fights in Washington, or that all it would take to prevail was winning a small handful of Supreme Court cases. And we're disappointed in the Supreme Court. I'm disappointed. But the battle is so much bigger and so much broader than any of that. The radical left has been methodically taking over every giant centralized institution in American life. The school systems, you see that. The universities, the bar associations. Look at what happened to Rudy. Hollywood, journalism, the big banks, big tech, and even the Supreme Court, where we're getting some unexpected rulings because the 9 justices do not want to be packed. And the Democrats are in a position to pack the court, and they don't want to be packed. So they don't want to look at the...
Brett Kavanaugh, none of the people he picked want to be packed.
We had, led by that gentleman right there from the great state of Texas, we had almost 20 states, and we thought we had a case where the standing was so good. You know, I wanted to do it personally, but they said, sir, you're the president, you have no standing. I said, what kind of...
Sir, you started cover of Time magazine
He
again.
said, the thing that has the standing are states. And if you could get 1 or 2 or 3, they got almost 20. And they were really strong about it.
Strong.
And you know what? The justices never looked at the case. They didn't look. And many of the judges didn't look at the case. But we do have cases going on right now where I think you have patriotic.
You guys following this?
We're going to see if that happens. But if the justices got their way, they won't be packed. In other words, what's happened is vicious things. Look at the Schumer statement that he said when he was on the court steps. So he's no longer protected because he's done, in Congress, if you're a guy like Adam Schiff, you can lie and lie and lie. You can't do anything. You have immunity. But once you step out of that building, Schumer said horrible things.
Horrible.
He said a mafia-like statement to the judges. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. But they are playing the ref. Playing the ref? Even better than the great Bobby Knight in his prime.
Yeah, anyway, by the way, I do want to say congratulations to the Argentinian men's national team. A beautiful win last night. Leo Messi with just an incredible number of goals. No one's ever even seen anything like it. The goalie, I mean, it was just a fantastic win. And finally, Copa America goes back to Argentina after, I think, 28 years.
I don't want to have 24 judges. They said 13. I said, the Democrats are too smart for 13. It's an unlucky number. Why would they have 13? So they'll make it 15, but they'll probably make it 23, 21, 19. It'll go up. And if they would have looked at the case, we would have won that case, in my opinion. And they would have never been packed because you would have had a beautiful veto sitting right in the Oval Office. I would have vetoed it because it's a terrible thing. But the Democrats are vicious to the Supreme Court and to Kavanaugh. He's another one. Yeah, Bill Barr, they
To Kavanaugh.
we're going to impeach him. And it changes people.
This guy.
And how about Brett Kavanaugh? We're going to impeach him on women that admitted, ultimately, that nothing happened. They weren't even in the country.
I don't think I'd be impeaching Kavanaugh on women. I would just have him sit in a chair. He's got enough problems.
They should be prosecuted, and they weren't. But with Brett Kavanaugh, they're screaming, we're going to impeach him every time you vote. We're going to impeach him. And you know what? How does he get out of that? By voting for the Democrats. So it's a very sad thing. And he went through what no other person I have ever seen go through. That hearing was the most vicious, horrible hearing.
Trump's upset because, he kind of deserves the same thing.
Worse than that. In New York City and state, far-left Democrats actually ran for office, promising to prosecute me, my family, and my company without knowing anything about me. I never even heard of these people. They knew nothing about me. We're going to get him. We're going to get him. We're going to get Trump. And she won. She won. A lot of people running. She won. On the basis, we're going to get him. What did he do? I don't know, but we'll find something. No, how would you like this?
Crowd's really
They're
engaged,
in search
huh?
of a crime. To them, it did not matter whether any laws had been broken. The crime was opposing the radical left Democrat Party. This is lawless and tyrannical behavior. It's a political persecution, like something straight out of the communist countries that you see around the world, the few that are left. Yet it's happening here in America at the hands of radical left Democrats. And the Republicans, again, they just don't seem to understand at that top level what the hell is happening.
I don't
They
understand.
Don't do it the same way.
In this speech, what's
And
happening?
maybe they're going to have to change. Our job and our mission is to resist this poison and fight for our republic with all of our heart and with all of our soul. For decades, the career politicians who sold out our country, shipped away our millions and millions of jobs, and sent our children to die in endless foreign wars have gotten away with the most flagrant corruption imaginable. These people sold out our country. As Vice President Joe Biden flew his son Hunter around the world on Air Force Two.
This is a good super chat. Can we get a side shot of that posture? I'll show you what it looks like from the side. Hold on.
Show that he collected millions and millions of dollars from foreign nations, including Ukraine, while setting aside a cut to the big guy. Who is the big guy? That's Joe Biden. Well, that's not allowed to. And Joe Biden said they're not getting the $1 billion unless that prosecutor is out. What the hell? Can you imagine if I said that? If I said that, they impeached me and nothing happened. Can you imagine if I said they're not getting their billion and voila, he was gone. He was bragging. I don't know what the hell he was thinking when did he know the tape was running when he did that? And nothing happens. Nothing happens. You know why? Because Bill Barr is a nice man. Bill Barr and the Republicans are too nice. They're too nice.
This guy lost the crowd, huh?
Vicious people. And they will destroy our country, and they will do whatever they can to do it. Hunter said that he gave half of his salary to Pop, and that he paid vast amounts of money for Joe Biden's expenses. Now, Joe Biden has all these houses. He's always been like a senator or a congressman, right? For many years. Louis, I didn't know you made that kind of money, that you had mansions. You have mansions? Does Louis Gohmert have mansions all over Texas? I don't think so.
This is kind of weird, huh?
And that's enough. That's all you need, right, Louis? Wants to go home to his bathroom and his bedroom and use his one toothbrush, right? No, but Joe's got a lot of toothbrushes. Yet not a single member of our treacherous, corrupt political establishment has ever experienced anything like the deranged and demented persecution that has been directed at me, my family, and everyone associated with us, everybody. I came down the escalator with our great future First Lady.
Sir, your wife is up in the air.
She was great. She had a very successful career, did really well until she met me. So much for that career. That's Sarah. She's cool. She's the coolest and most confident person.
She's
She
cool.
gets it better than anybody. And she loves you people. She loves you.
Anybody seen her, by the way? I haven't seen her since I left office.
But that's when all of these witch hunts began, all because I put America first, all because of MAGA. Make America great again. And now it's also because I got more votes, 75 million, than anybody in the history of the presidency. And far more than Clinton, far more than Obama, and a record 12 million more than...
Now, what about compared to Joe Biden in 2020?
Usually they go down a little bit second term, and they win, but they go down a little bit. I was told by a great pollster, really somebody great, John McLaughlin, one of the most respected.
Oh, no.
Sir, you got 63 million votes. If you get it up to 64 or 65,
Sir,
nobody can beat you.
Sir, you can't ask
Kill
that
us.
question.
Thank you, John, very much.
Sir,
I got it to 75.
I don't know.
And I lost, in quotes, I lost. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And what they've done to this movement, I think they've made the movement stronger. I'll
Sir,
tell you, in a certain
he's
way,
better
think
than I
they've
am.
made it stronger.
Sir, your wife is up in the air.
I'll never forget it. On election night, we did so much better than they ever thought in their wildest imagination that they just said that.
Yeah, this. He really should just wrap it up. It's just way too long. Thanks to Low Fox, by the way, for the Twitch Prime sub, as well as Gut Digga, Judge Reinhold, Hack Fooey. I have not been able to keep up with everybody. I do see the support coming in. I so appreciate it. You guys are great. The sad Trump code is still live on my website, and I'll keep thanking people as best I can.
On the Democrat side, or I love my Republicans, but we're really kicking their ass too. But we love them. But we like it because they're friends of ours, right? So it's okay. I think we can say that affectionately. No, they're great. They're great. And they're working hard. And you saw a lot of them this weekend. But the Democrats want me out, and they want me out as fast as possible.
You are out, dude.
Here I am. I could have a nice, beautiful life. And here I am on a Sunday in Texas.
Man. Really bad. It's time to wrap, bro. 4 more years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you imagine? But guys, this is why we got to take it seriously. This is why I did my segment last week saying if it's Trump Biden in 24, it's not good for Joe. It's not.
No, I said to Matt and Mercedes, because I've done this and we've had, and by the way, you have a poll coming out. Unfortunately, I want to know what it is. They do that straw poll, right? Now, if it's bad, I say it's fake. If it's good, I say that's the most accurate poll perhaps ever taken.
It's not a joke. He's not joking.
And I know they have it. I guess it gets announced after. I want to find out. Are you going to? Oh, he won't. He won't tell me. I know, Matt. He won't tell me. Well, whenever the hell they get it released. I'll tell you, here's the story. If it's bad, it'll be front page news in the newspapers. If it's great.
No, either way, I'll report on it. Look at this insane message here. I'm a medical doctor, have a patient who's a vet who has been taking cattle ivermectin for a year and refuses the vaccine. That is just humiliating.
Right here at CPAC. And I'm so proud of the job. I mean, look at this room. Look at outside. We have thousands of people trying to come in. I mean, our only thing is next time we'll have to get a bigger place, I guess, right? Next time. But I said to Matt, and much more importantly, I said to Mercedes, I said, give me Death Valley. Give me the worst time, the worst slot. We'll fill it up. He said, well, sir, that would be Sunday afternoon. Because most people are doing other things.
The truth is, this is the last big thing. This is like the keynote, the idea that this is the worst time. And I get Sunday afternoon at conventions isn't great, but he always does this.
I'll fly in and look at this crowd we get and look at the love in this room. Look at the love, right? Now, we'll give Saturday night to Louie and to the doc. We'll give Saturday night to Byron. We're going to give Saturday night to Devin. We're going to give somebody Friday night, which is almost as good. They give me Sunday, and I love Sunday. You know why? It reminds me of church. That's okay. But no, I'm honored that, it really is. I said, give me your worst time. I don't care. And he gives me the worst time. He actually did. And he just broke his record. The radical left and
so we've done 5 minutes on the timing of the speech. How about 5 minutes on the food behind the stage?
We took on the corrupt special interests. We faced down the open borders that you're seeing so much. How bad are these borders? They're coming out of the prisons. They're coming out of everywhere in these other countries. They think we're so stupid. They're letting their prisoners out, floating in through the caravans, come into our country, murderers, drug dealers, human traffickers of women. It's mostly women. We stood up to the absurd dictates of political correctness.
Absurd.
And we called out the people
Jordan
who were
Peterson,
getting
though.
rich, bleeding our country dry, and many of them were politicians. Against the howls and cries of the corporate interests and the Washington lobbyists, we demanded fair trade for the American workers, and we did a great job on that. We finally ended the worst trade deal in the history of our country, NAFTA. One of the worst trade deals. I don't want to disrespect our past, but the people that negotiated that deal were either stupid or corrupt.
His deal's almost identical.
They say both. Good.
Yeah, what's it even called? I forget what he even called his thing. It's so similar.
Destroyed your automobile business. We pulled out of the World Health Organization scam.
We're already back in.
The World Health Organization, I pulled out because they're like a pipe organ for China, right?
We're back in.
So I pulled out.
USMCA, yeah.
They want us back. So the guy's just nice guy, wants us back. Sir, we really want you back. We really want you back. I said, how much are we paying? Almost $500 million a year. How
Sir,
much
you
is
can't
China
ask
paying?
that question.
$39 million a year. I said, okay. So let me ask you a question. We have 325 million people, not including illegal aliens, which who the hell knows? I don't think they have any idea what we're. But we have 325 million people. China has 1.4 billion people. They're paying 39. we're paying 500. So let me ask you a question. Would you take us back if we paid 39? Yes. I said, okay, I'm going to think about it. But when I pulled out, it was so popular, I couldn't even get back in for 39 because everybody, including Doc Ronnie, thought it was amazing that I pulled out because he understands it's a pipe organ for China and for others, but mostly for China.
Whoa.
So I said, so I would get back in for 39.
For a second, I thought he said it's a pipe organ vagina. And I was like, that's really weird. How is that even relevant?
I turned it down. And now, because of the rigged election, we're out. He's in. And he immediately says, we're going back in. He went back in for the same price that they were paying before.
Sounds pretty
Now,
fishy.
You know what? 450 million in terms of when you're dealing with billions and trillions and all of this, it's a lot of money. This is a year. This is every year. We pay almost 500 million. They pay 39 million. Their country's much larger. But why wouldn't they say, we'll do it for 39, or in theory, less. Let us in for 10. I think they would have taken it. In fact, one of the reasons I wasn't happy, I should have started off lower, Matt. Instead of 30, I said, how about, would you do it for 9? Proportional, right?
This is painfully stupid. Like, painfully stupid.
We'll go back in, but we want to come back in at 39 million or 30 million or 20 million. They said, we'll go back in, and now they're going to be paying what we've been ripped off for years. And we don't have control of it. China has total, absolute control. We have none. What do you think of that?
China.
Matt in the second row.
China.
Our acting attorney general.
China all the
Our
time.
acting. He took a lot of abuse.
China.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for being here up here. I just see you there. Thank you.
China.
So think of
China.
it. So we have this deal, and they just go in. This is the way our country runs. It's the way our country runs.
Do you guys think any of that negotiation he just described took place? Like, is it partially true or completely untrue?
It's the Gerald Ford. They decided to use magnets for the elevators that bring magnets. You're in the middle of the ocean, big waves, bullets being shot at your ship. You got magnets. I could take this little glass of water, drop it in the magnets. That's the end of the elevator.
What's he saying? Magnets? Like magnets.
And they decide to do it through electric instead of steam. Right? Catapult, it's called. So they have a catapult. And for 60 years, it's been steam operated. They decide to do it, let's make it out of electric. So I go to the ship because it's been under construction for years. It was going to cost $2.5 billion. It's going to end up costing $18 billion. But the bad news is it doesn't work. They even moved the tower from the center to the back of the ship, making it much harder for pilots to land.
Whoa.
By the way, the single hardest thing for a pilot to do is land on an aircraft carrier. Even great pilots can't do it. If they're a little bit claustrophobic, you know, that carrier looks big, but when you're up there flying and moving along at rapid speeds and you're looking at this massive ocean and you have a little deck.
The ocean is huge from the standpoint of water.
It much tighter instead of putting it in the middle where it's a wider part of the ship, a whole thing. Another thing, what's under there? That's, sir, where they keep the ammunition. I said, wait a minute. They built the tower. I don't even know what I'm doing, sir. I don't want to be the captain of that ship, by the way. So I said, I went to visit the ship, and I wasn't interested in seeing the admiral. The admiral said, sir, Admiral so-and-so, the thing's out to sea trials, it's not working.
Mr.
And
President,
I said,
sir.
Admiral,
How
honestly,
are
I
you?
think you're a wonderful man. Very good-looking guy, actually. You're like central casting, but I want to see the catapulters. So I meet these 5 guys, real great guys. They're catapulters. How long have you been doing it, Jim? Sir, 21 years.
He's sir, your wife is up in the
Sir,
air.
you
Sir,
can't
ask that
Sure,
question.
absolutely, sir. It doesn't work. Why? He said, because if it breaks, you have to go through graduate school at MIT to fix it. And with the steam, we had the same power or more, and we could fix it with a blowtorch and a hammer. And I love that steam in my face, sir.
Guys, this story is not only exhausting, it's delusional. I mean, this is insane.
It could go back and forth automatically all day long. I said, is that good or bad? He said, unnecessary, because it takes us 1 minute and 59 seconds to put the plane on and hook it up. And by the time we do that, sir, we're all set. We have so much steam, we don't know what to do with it. So I said, so you mean they spent all of this money? They spent $900 million as of a year ago.
When Trump says "sir" once, it's usually partially an untrue story. Since he's said it 10 times here, maybe this is completely imaginary.
Give me a glass of water. I will put it out of commission. I'll throw it on the electric circuits. It's not going to work. And it's just, I mean, it's so, we do things so stupidly. So they're at $18 billion. And I said, did you sue the shipyard? No, sir. Then I meet with the architect. I said, you're the architect, yes. Have you ever designed a ship before? My first question, have you ever designed a ship before? I'm telling you, foreign countries are laughing at us. They're laughing at us. How stupid we are. We renegotiated the Korea trade deal and we built the greatest economy in the history of the world with a record 160 million people working. We were never close. And I do not want to see any negotiations of tax increases by Senate Republicans, because I see certain rhinos, they keep walking over to the White House. They're getting fleeced. I feel so badly, you know. Guys like Romney, and they walk over to the White House. The other half, the senator from Louisiana, he was over there. I don't want to name them all because a couple of them are fine. But they go over there, they're getting fleeced. They come out, we have a deal. We have a deal. Remember England? We have a deal. You don't want to get into that. We have a deal. They said they had a deal. 20 minutes later, when the radical left heard that Biden agreed to something, they went crazy. And then Biden said, we don't have a deal anymore. They're getting fleeced. And what they're doing is they're saying, we'll agree to raise your taxes if you approve this radical left infrastructure deal, where most of the money, almost none of the money, is going to real infrastructure, which is roads, bridges, etc. And I'm telling the Republican senators right now that we're not going to.
This is getting pretty tough to even continue listening to. Should I open some phone lines and then we go back for the denouement? Or I don't even. It's endless and it's bizarre.
That we made a bipartisan deal.
We'll continue. Okay, all right, let's continue.
You're getting fleeced. It's all Green New Deal stuff.
Easy, everybody easy.
And it's going to destroy our country. And inflation's going to be a big problem. We can't let it happen. Despite the pleading and begging of the outsourcers and globalists, I took on China like no president had ever done before. Imposing massive tariffs to protect American workers and bring jobs and factories and billions of dollars back. You know that, back to.
Let's see how long he's been going. Hold on.
Great deal with China, which has immeasurably helped
70 minutes so far. Wow.
And we put the Chinese Communist Party on defense. For the first time ever in the history of our country, we never took in 10 cents. They're paying us billions. And you know, it's interesting. Biden, he wants to end the tariffs. If he does, China will take over the whole deal, okay? But they're finding it hard to do. He campaigned on ending tariffs, which was stupid.
It's hard to do because Trump destroyed trust with China.
You know what happened. But he campaigned on ending tariffs. So ridiculous. We're taking billions and billions, and we convince the world that we have to watch China. You know, when I took over, we had a deficit.
Oh, wait, no, that's wrong. Yeah, it's been way longer than that. Hold on. How long has it been going? 75 minutes, I guess, maybe even longer.
But now China is totally on the offense, making Joe Biden and our country look weak, soft, and pathetic. We ignored the hysterics of the socialist left and withdrew from the unfair one-sided Paris Climate Accord. One of the great rip-offs.
We're back in already. Yeah.
Would have cost us $1 trillion. We unleashed America's energy resources.
Is it really an accomplishment?
Energy independence for the first time.
He temporarily got us out, and now we're back in. I mean, okay.
And we don't need
noise?
windmills.
Did you guys hear that?
Of other places. We don't need windmills. They ought to end that program as quickly as they can. When the plague came in from China, I dragged the slow and complacent bureaucrats from the FDA and the CDC into the Oval Office. I pushed them like they have never been pushed before. And thanks to the relentless efforts of my administration and me, we got miraculous therapeutics straight to patients with historic speed. And
Will
we
he mention
produced
hydroxy?
3 vaccines to end the pandemic in record time. Would have never happened. Would have never happened. We did it in less than 9 months. They said a minimum of 3 years, probably 5 years, and sir, it probably won't happen at all.
Total lie.
If we didn't have that, we would be in a position like perhaps over 100 years ago, right?
1917 flu. There it is.
Over 100 people.
It was
I have different
1918.
numbers, but perhaps as many as 100 million people died. We beat back the failed foreign policy establishment to withdraw from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. We recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital and Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights.
Crowd loves that. Doesn't even understand it.
We ended the endless wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Somalia, and other countries. And we brought our beautiful troops back home. Now,
Crowd unsure. Do we clap for that or not? Is it even true? It's not. Yeah.
everything in place to finish withdrawing responsibly, and Joe Biden is turning it into a total disaster. They don't respect him. He's leaving behind billions and billions of dollars of equipment. I told these generals, I want every nail brought back home. I want the tanks brought back home. I want it all brought back home. And instead, the Taliban is now parading around with our weapons that Joe Biden allowed them to capture. It's a disgrace. But with all of that being said, we should get out. 21 years is enough. 21 years.
True.
21 years is enough. In everything we do, we refuse to bow down to the radical left, the rhinos, the political establishment, and instead we insist on standing up for America and making America great again and always putting America first. America's got to be first. Every day more people are realizing that we were right on all of the key issues, and that this is one reason why our endorsement has become, and it's really not just my endorsement, it's your endorsement, has become the most powerful weapon in politics.
That's a lie.
Last year, exact numbers, because if they weren't exact, they will come out at me, you wouldn't believe. 120 of the 122 candidates we endorsed in congressional primary elections won. So
Incumbents tend to win.
And the 2 that didn't, actually, they turned out to be great Trump people. They really did. They turned out to be great. But we had a great string of endorsements. We love the candidates we endorse. We're endorsing a lot of good ones right now in the Senate primary election.
And remember, if you zoom out, Trump wins 16. They lose control of the House in 18. They lose control of the Senate in 20. And they lose the White House in 20.
Cycle. We are already 10-0 on endorsements, and you're going to check this, and they're going to check. Oh, they'll be checking tonight, Matt. They're going to be up there tonight checking. Oh, they want to find it. It's not 10-0. It's 10-1. He lied. He's a terrible person. In the face of the Biden administration's far-left campaign to transform our country and erase our history, we are not backing down. We will never back down. When we regain control of Congress, we will immediately regain control of our border, and it's not that easy. I watch a lot of our good congressmen get onto it. All we have to do is redo the Trump edict. It's not that easy. We negotiated with those countries, and it wasn't simple, very complex. We had it better than ever before. It's so sad to see what happened. We will hold China accountable for the damage and suffering they have caused and make them pay trillions of dollars in reparations to us and to the world. We will break up the big tech monopolies and bring back free speech. We can't let this.
Sure.
We will take back our elections, and finally, we will always include a thing called voter ID. That's another thing. The Democrats are now saying, oh, we always wanted voter ID. There was a poll, 88% of the people in the country want voter ID, so now the Democrats, again, same old story. They're saying, we want voter ID. We've always wanted voter ID. These people are sick. We will completely defund and bar critical race theory.
Okay.
1776, not 1619, if you don't mind. And if government-run schools are going to teach children to hate their country, we will demand school choice, and we already have been. If you listen to the media or watch the evening newscasts, our country has really gone bad. All we talk about is race. That's all they talk about, race. The whole show, race, race. We don't talk about our country being great anymore. We don't talk about how America can lead the world.
You made it kind of not as great, dude, so we're trying to fix it.
Of people that are being shot in Democrat-run cities and what to do about it. We don't talk about ending the drugs pouring across our borders, which I had greatly reduced with our wall and so many other things that we're doing. And most importantly, we never talk about the great future of our country. We don't talk about any of this stuff anymore.
By the way, the number of people getting banned in our YouTube and Twitch right now, it's crazy what's going on.
And they
Something in
always
the
have,
water.
Never like this. But it's hurting our country, and more than anyone else, our great minority communities. It's hurting them very badly. The Democrat obsession with race is only dragging us backward into the past, and it is bringing our country down to a point where even China and Russia are lecturing us on human rights, race, and they're doing it in a very humiliating fashion. This never happened.
China
Never happened with me. During my administration, our country was respected again. It is no longer respected. In conclusion, our party and our movement, we're all united by the same shared American values and by unyielding resolve to defend our beloved nation for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. We take great pride in our country, and we teach the truth about our history. We celebrate our rich heritage and national traditions. We honor George Washington,
Here we go.
Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln.
It's time
and
to
all
wrap.
of our national heroes. And of course, we always respect our great American flag.
Please end it.
We believe in patriotic education for our children, and we strongly oppose the radical indoctrination of America's youth. We are committed to defending innocent life and to proudly upholding the Judeo-Christian values of our nation's founding.
It's jarring when he goes into the closing. It's really weird. Like, he's just been ranting about nothing for an hour, and now he's in this closing.
We reject the intolerance of left-wing cancel culture. We believe in our Constitution and in law and order. We want law and order. We demand law and order. We don't want people shot and killed in our cities. We totally respect and support the men and women of law enforcement. They will
Really? Because you're trying to out the dude who shot Ashley Babbitt at the insurrection.
We are loyal to our fellow citizens, and above all, we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." These are the convictions that define our movement today and must define the Republican Party, which has truly become the party of the working man and woman. The working man, the working woman. That's what's happening. Look how many people are joining. We have a much different party than we had 5 years ago. You were in big trouble, Republicans, and look what's happening. Now, for the next 16 months, we must pour
they're playing them
every
off.
ounce of our energy
No, I'm kidding.
into winning a historic victory in the midterms. We will never give up our search for truth and justice for what happened in the corrupt presidential election of 2020, because without that truth, we cannot have an honest election in 2022 or 2024, no matter what they want to tell you. And our country will soon stand proudly for free and strong and proper elections again.
Right.
The election fraud of 2020 is the single most requested topic for me and others to talk about. Ahead of the border, even ahead of crime, because think of what they've done.
Whoa.
What they've done is so sad. Look what's happened to our country in just a short number of months. Everyone here today and every conservative all across our land needs to decide right now that together we will save this country. We must decide that we will not stop, we will not rest until our American heritage of...
I would really, one of the things Trump could do that would really get me to instantly respect him a little more is for him to show up and multiple times during this go, hey guys, go get vaccinated. All this BS you're hearing, I developed the vaccines, right? We all agree I developed them. Yeah, we're cheering I did the vaccines. Go and get a vaccine.
American inheritance was passed down to us by generations of American patriots who gave everything they had, their sweat, their blood, and even their way of lives to build America into the greatest nation in the history of the world. And we are not going to let it be taken away from us by a small group of radical left Marxist maniacs. We're not going to let it happen.
There's essentially no Marxists here.
We will protect and defend our cherished American legacy and freedom for ourselves, for our children, and for every future generation. My fellow Americans, our movement is the greatest in American history, and it has just begun.
Okay.
With your help, your devotion, your brilliance, and your drive, we will carry forward the torch of American liberty. We will lead the conservative movement and the Republican Party back to victory, and it will be a greater victory than this party has ever had.
Let's hope not.
We will take back the House. We will take back the Senate. And then, after witnessing all that has gone wrong in our country in such a short period of time, with our borders, with our economy, with crime, we will take back that glorious White House.
All the things he lost.
Basically, in our nation's capital, beautiful White House, that's small letters, White House, that beautiful White House, and it is the most beautiful house of all. Working together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you.